Those of you who wanted to learn about bread, would you please come to the front of the class? I am going to take you through a very easy white sandwich bread recipe. But before I do, we need to talk about some basics and have some science knowledge before we go into it. Many of you have said, I am way too scared to try anything with yeast. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what you are afraid of. Yeast. And I am not mocking you because I was you. And I sometimes still am you, okay? Am I a bread expert? No. Am I a scientist? No. Do I like making bread? Yes. Do I experiment a lot with bread? Yes. And I'm gonna share all the recipes with you and create a playlist so that you can just go there and try them out. But first we're gonna talk about this. Yeast is to bread what butter is to cookies. Treating butter correctly when you're making cookies makes a difference. Treating the yeast right in the beginning of the process, giving it the food and everything it needs, is going to make it successful when you add everything else, that you get lovely breads. Yeast feeds off of warmth and sugar. So a lot of recipes you will see will have a little bit of sugar in them and you're like, why? It's bread. It helps to feed the yeast. This is what's called dry active yeast. You probably buy it at the grocery store in little packets. I think Red Star makes it. Packets are great. One thing that's important when you're using yeast is we need to create the right environment for it to grow. So you probably need to give it a little sugar and we need to give it warmth. For some breads, that's going to be warm water. For enriched doughs, that's going to be milk. When you are adding your warm ingredient, it's important that the liquid is between 100 and 110 degrees. If it's too low, it's not going to activate the yeast enough, so you're not going to get quite the rise that you're looking for. If it's too hot, you can absolutely kill the yeast. It will happen the second you pour it in. It will kill anything in here that would bloom and grow, and you'll see after 5 minutes it won't be frothy and it won't look like it should. Dump it out and start over, because I've done it. It happens. So between 100 and 110 degrees. Let's get in the kitchen, make a super easy bread recipe that you will be able to master and then manipulate to make all kinds of other bread. Hello, my carb-loving creators. It's the next day for me. Mixing bowl with a paddle attachment. You do not need a dough hook. Paddle attachment is fine, or regular beaters. Not your whisk, but 1/4 of a cup sugar. 4.5 teaspoons of dry active yeast. Now, 4.5 teaspoons is 2 standard size packets. In your packets, there's 2 1/4 teaspoons. So this is just 2 packets if you're using packets. So we've got our yeast in there, sugar that it's gonna feed on, and 3/4 of a cup warm water. Warm from the tap, not over 110 degrees. Put that in the bowl, give it a little stir, and now we're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes. Here is what it should look like after 5 minutes. You can see it's frothy and foamy. This is exactly what we're looking for. This yeast has bloomed and is activated. All right, now that our yeast is good, we can put everything else in. Put it on stir. 2 2/3 cup warm water. 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter at room temperature, and 1 tablespoon of salt. That sounds like a lot, but this makes 2 big loaves of bread. So you only have 1.5 teaspoons of salt in each loaf. And the salt is going to give us flavor. Now, you don't want to put the salt in any earlier than this, because salt can kill yeast. So we bloomed the yeast, it's activated, now we can add the salt. And you have one more ingredient, 9 cups of all-purpose flour. Add it slowly. Here it is. Once all your flour is added, Let it unstir for another 3 minutes until it pulls away from the side of the bowl. It'll probably all be on your paddle. If it doesn't do that, add 1 tablespoon of flour at a time and let that mix in until it does. But this is what it should look like. I leave it right in here, cover it with plastic wrap, and let it rise for 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes until it is doubled in size. Welcome back. This is what happy bread dough looks like. Look how happy, look how much it rose. Now it's gonna drop a little as we touch it here. Okay, so for this recipe, you need two 9x5 loaf pans. These are just Wilton pans, they are non-stick, and I have given them a quick spray with some cooking spray, although I never really have problems with bread releasing, but just in case. If you really want to get into bread and you want to do things like dinner rolls and different kinds and stuff, get a food scale. $10. I've had this one for probably 6 years. It does exactly what it needs to do. I've got ounces, I've got grams, so however you want to measure things, you can do that. Mine's on ounces for this next part. This makes 2 loaves, about 33 to 34 ounces each. So what I'm going to do is weigh one of those out. Make sure your scale's on 0 and just scoop some out. Look at that gluten into there. It's going to be a little sticky. That's okay. Turn this out onto a floured surface and I'll show you what we're going to do next. This part's super easy. A little bit of flour. We're going to hand knead it a little. Palm of your hand. Push, drag, pull over. Just a few times. Now, this is going in a loaf pan. So what we're going to do is, and kind of tuck in about a third, tuck in another third. See that little like seam? And kind of pinch it together. Flip it over. And I just like to push my fingers under the side. Loaf pan. Into there. Do your second one, cover that with plastic wrap, and let it rise for another 20 to 25 minutes. During this time, preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Look at these lovelies. Now, we are going to melt 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter and brush that gently on top. This is going to add a little extra flavor and add a little bit of color. Then you're going to bake these in your preheated 375 degree oven for 30 minutes. And that, my friends, is it. Now into the oven, see you in 30. Here it is. Fresh out of the oven. Look at that beautiful, that's just because it touched the rack above it, the little lines, but they'll go away. Let it cool 10 minutes in the pan and then tip it out. You can cool it on a wire rack if you want. I just turn mine on the side on a regular cookie sheet. Slice and enjoy. This also freezes amazing. I'm now going to spam you with photos of other breads and other ways I've manipulated the same recipe to hold other things, from cheddar to pesto to jalapenos to all the things. Sorry that these videos get long. I try to pack as much in as I can, but I will try to keep them shorter. Remember, you did this 6-ingredient yeasted sandwich dough. It was not hard. You did this. You did bread, and I'm proud of you. And even if it didn't turn out as perfectly as you wanted, I'm proud of you for trying, because it is really intimidating to even take that first step. If you like baking, if you like bread, if you like videos like this, make sure to follow along for more tutorials, and follow me on all socials, which I'll put here. All right, y'all have a lovely day. You made bread.